All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Omni-Channel Strategies, How to Elevate Your Weekly Ad. I'm Wendy Lattis. I'm a Senior Director at AR Marketing, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. Today, we're going to be diving into how AR Marketing has helped grocery retailers just like you transform your traditional weekly ad into this powerful omni-channel digital tool that drives traffic, boosts sales, and engages shoppers across digital platforms. Just a little bit about AR Marketing and why we're here to share our expertise because we work with omni-channel marketing channels all the time. We're a full-service agency specializing in social and digital marketing for independent grocers. We've been doing this since 2009. We've helped grocers across the country grow their customer base, boost sales, and stand out in competitive markets. As the official IGA Red Oval partner for social and digital marketing services, we proudly support a lot of IGA retailers with strategic, results-driven campaigns tailored to their unique communities. Today, I'm joined by this fantastic panel. They're going to bring to you a deep understanding and experiences and insights on their respective digital channels that they work on. Jen Call, she's our talented social media manager at AR Marketing. She helps grocery brands craft content that connects and converts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok channels. Janelle August, she's our expert for email and text messaging. She knows how to get your ad directly in the hands and phones of your shoppers. And of course, you all pretty much know Sarah Rivers, Senior Director of Connected Commerce at IGA. She brings valuable retailer perspective and implements these strategies at scale on Google and OTT CTV channels. We're all here to help you amplify your weekly ad and with a cohesive messaging and across digital touchpoints. So whether your shoppers are scrolling, clicking, or opening their inbox, your store stays top of mind. So let's get started. So it all starts with your weekly ad. It's a powerful tool. It's one of the most powerful tools in your marketing toolbox. But here's the big question. Are you really maximizing the potential across all channels? That's what this slide is all about. Omnichannel marketing isn't just a buzzword. It's about meeting your shoppers where they are and delivering consistent, engaging messages wherever they go. Your weekly ad is the perfect content engine to fuel that strategy. As you can see, here's an example of taking your weekly ad and how it has mass potential. It's not just a list of prices. It's a content engine. Here's an example of taking an item and price promo pulled from your weekly ad and how we push that core message across channels like Google, email, text, social, OTT, and even print. The idea is to create one unified voice for the store, and that consistency of what drives sales, loyalty, and shopper trust. There's a well-known marketing concept often referred to as the rule of 7, which suggests that consumers need to see or hear your message at least 7 times before they take action. This idea has been around for decades, and it's rooted in traditional advertising, but it still has influence on the digital strategy side. In today's multi-channel landscape, the actual numbers can vary based on the platform, and the product and the consumer's level of interest. But here's a few updates on this digital side strategy. What the researchers are saying is that for Facebook or Meta, they suggest frequency matters. They suggest that frequency really does matter for brand lift. So studies show that you really need to 3 to 7 impressions per week can help drive recall and consideration. For Google ads, a study by Think with Google found that the conversion rates with ad exposure up to a point usually require about 6 to 10 impressions. And for TV, CTV advertising, Nielsen data suggests that brand recall and awareness can significantly increase after 5 to 7 exposures. So what's your key takeaways here? Basically, 3 to 7 plus exposures commonly a recommended range. Too many impressions can lead to ad fatigue or annoyance, so you have to balance it off by the channel. Different platforms have different ideal frequencies. Again, social, often higher due to the shorter attention span. Emails, fewer touches, but more personalized, and digital usually needs multiple exposures. So how do we at AR Market develop the right omni-channel plan and make decisions for which channels to operate on? We start with a solid plan before we jump into the campaign execution. That's the most critical part. To truly elevate your weekly ad with omni-channel strategies, you need to know two things first: who your shoppers are, where and how to reach them. This is where having a comprehensive omni-marketing channel plan comes into play. Without it, you risk delivering fragmented messages or missing out on key audiences or even underutilizing your high-performing channels. A smart plan aligns with your weekly ad promotion, shoppers' behaviors, purchasing cycles, and most importantly, their platform preferences. One of the best tools we recommend using during the planning phase is placer reports. Placer reports help us dig into the shopper's behavior, where your foot traffic's coming from, how often people are visiting your stores, what other retailers are they're visiting, what zip codes are underperforming or show potential growth, and how different stores in your chain may serve different audience segments. So again, placer reports, they help you target smarter. For example, if you know that one location sees higher cross-shopping with discount stores, maybe you push aggressive price points in your Google ads or your OTT ads. If another location draws more work professionals that lean into prepared meals, and then maybe you send text reminders around the time that they're commuting home. The point is, your omni-channel strategy should not be a one-size-fits-all. It should be grounded in data, tailored to your audience, and yet have a cohesive messaging across all these platforms. And once you know who you're talking to, where they're at, it becomes easier to deliver consistent messages and drive results. And once you have your audiences and your messaging aligned and your marketing plans in place, let's just briefly discuss the importance of your website. So, because that's where most of our ads are driving traffic to. We're driving your shopper traffic, shopper eyeballs to your website. So Sarah's going to go ahead and discuss a little bit about the importance of your website.
Sure. Thank you, Wendy. So let's talk about some reasons that your website is important. Well, if people can't find you online, they may assume that you don't exist or you aren't worth checking out. So a website really is your 24/7 front door, so make it count. Be sure the content is relevant and engaging. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a retailer's website and they still accidentally have a graphic up from Christmas and it's now August. So make sure that you update your website regularly. And your website really is where you shine and control your story. So you get to tell people what makes your store different, from local produce to community impact or killer customer service. So those are all things that you want to use as differentiators on your website. Your competition is also out there and online, so you don't have to match them, but you do need to at least be in the game. And a solid website shows you're legit, current, and community rooted. And then, of course, shopper engagement. So the most visited page of your website typically is that weekly ad page. So weekly deals, new products, community events, where shoppers can go to find that information is super important. And so you make sure you have that ad on your website. So why it needs to be responsive, and what does that mean? So responsive just means basically that it adapts to whatever platform a shopper is on. So whether they're using a mobile device or a tablet or a laptop, that website is going to be responsive to what they're using. And over 60% of that web traffic is on phones. So if your site isn't mobile responsive, shoppers are just going to bounce off because it doesn't display right on their phone. Secondly, Google cares, and they care a lot. So Google ranks mobile-friendly sites higher in search results, and your store may not even show up if it's not mobile responsive. So make sure it is. And then a responsive design makes it easier to browse specials. You don't have to do all that pinching and zooming that sometimes with mobile, unmobile responsive sites you have to. So make sure that you have that. And it also enables shoppers, click to call. So some of those features that are enabled on a mobile device. And then a responsive site adapts to new devices automatically, which means you don't have to rebuild and update your website every time a new phone comes out. So that's great. So these points don't even take into consideration if your website has shopping, online shopping, or e-commerce, which if you do offer that, it becomes even more important to make sure your website is up to date and consistent. You walk your store and you're in your store every day. You make sure your shelf looks spectacular and is faced and your produce is looking fresh. Do the same thing with your digital assets, right? So walk your website. Look at what you're putting out on social media. Make sure your hours are right. Make sure your location is right on all those search engines. So those are just some tips that I would give there. So let's talk a little bit about how you can advertise digitally. So I'll talk about digital ads, and then I'll talk about CTV, which stands for connected TV. And that serves impressions to connected devices, TVs, though. OTT stands for over the top. We do love our acronyms here in the digital world. Over the top stands for videos that are delivered, but on non-TV devices. So your cell phones and your tablets. So how IGA is engaging digitally with shoppers is we are publishing a national digital ad, as a lot of our IGA stores know and participate in. And we buy media around each one of our participating stores that drives traffic to the digital circular and helps the shopper know what store to go shop out for these deals that we're giving you examples of here. And how we coordinate and create that Omni-Channel is we have it in the digital ad. We produce shelf signs like I was showing there. And then we have oftentimes a shopper solution blog. So we're trying to communicate these specials and content over many different channels. The next slide is a grill giveaway we did for our summer grilling event, and we had an aisle blade so people could scan that QR code and enter to win a barbecue. And then we had our recipe club newsletter. So we're trying to make multiple touch points, communicating the same content so you can repurpose all that content. And then the last one is our ugly sweater contest that we did over the holidays, where people could enter to win a $25 gift card at any of our IGA stores, and we publish that across our social media assets. So that's just some ideas there. Okay, so digital display ads. These are some display ads that we've done for some of our stores. This is one helping with their loyalty program and getting people to register for that. The next one, if you click, Wendy, I think is, yes, saying goodbye to a new store that they remodeled. So they did all those photos in black and white, and then all new coming soon, pictures in color. So to update their customers and their potential customers on this remodel of a store that went on. The next one, we did a little campaign for a store in Wisconsin, I believe, kind of give people reasons why they should shop. And then the last one was a Thanksgiving promotion we did for Geisler's. And these all tied back into their website. So when the customer clicks on these display ads, it does go back to the website. So again, to Wendy's point, everything kind of goes back to your website and to your weekly ad page as well. So then let's talk about the CTV and OTT. So with these digital ads, we're really trying to market to people more in that upper part of the funnel. So people that are engaging with your digital circular or your weekly circular are more down in the intent, bottom of the funnel. They already know you. They know what you're all about. But we're trying to drive some awareness of your store and get new shoppers in your store. Here with these store-specific ads that we've produced. So Wendy, if you'll go ahead and then so the great thing with digital, and especially with CTV, is that you can really target folks, and you can buy by zip code. So you don't have to target an entire market like you used to have to do with TV. And we can really focus on who you want to reach. So for example, if you're starting a baby club and you want to reach, new moms, in a certain area, in a certain age range, we can do that. So you can get highly targeted. It's engaging format, those CTV ads. 95% of viewers retain that video message over just 10% that retain that information when reading the same message in text. It's very measurable, so we can measure impressions and views, and CPCV, which stands for cost per completed view. We can look at impressions by age, gender, location. So all of those analytics that you're looking for. And then brand modernization. So CTV helps you remain relevant, especially with those younger, digitally engaged folks. So I'll click through here and you can see some examples of the videos we've produced.
Hi, I'm Esther with Baby Thriftway. If you're hungry and in a rush, come pick up lunch or dinner from us.
Grab your next meal at Bayview Thriftway. Find your local grocer at shoplocalgrocersnw.com.
Hi, I'm Terry with Longfellow Market. We're proud to partner with local farmers like Axtell Farms in Stillwater and Paul's Market in Napa Valley. We're your source for locally grown produce. From crisp vegetables to vibrant fruit, everything you need to eat fresh and feel great is here.
Thanks for choosing us as your neighborhood grocer.
I'm Leo from Wagner's IGA. Since 1922, we've been making our own fresh pork casing sausage, smoked sausage, and many other items here in our store.
Visit us in Minster at 257 East 4th Street today.
So we help grocers with those scripts. We come in, we have a videographer shoot as much as they can around the store so we can make many different video ads and a bunch of different content, a very affordable program there. And we've had great success. So the standard benchmark cost per completed view for retail is between 10 and 30 cents, and we're running between 2 and 5 cents. So that is a very good cost per completed view. Our retailers are seeing between 55 and 63% of their shoppers watching the entire ad, even when they can skip the ad. So that means that people are engaged with that content and want to hear what they have to say. And then shoppers, of course, are coming into the store and saying to, Leo or the produce manager, whoever you have highlighted in those videos, hey, I saw you on YouTube. So they're getting really good results, and their sales are up year over year. And that's not obviously we can't attribute it to the digital ads, but it does give some good feedback there. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jen Call, and she'll talk about social media.
Hi there, I'm Jen Call from AR Marketing, and we're going to talk about the different social media channels such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We use these platforms to spotlight your weekly specials or meal inspiration, theme shopping list, maybe 5 meals under 25, all things featured from the ad. This kind of content encourages shares and comments to boost. Your goal is consistency. You want to use the same weekly ad content adapted for each platform's strengths to build recognition, reinforce your value, and drive action. So when your shopper sees the same top offers across Google, their email inbox, Instagram, even on TV, they're more likely to remember and respond. So instead of just running your weekly ad, let's amplify it across the marketing mix. Not every channel is right for everyone. So how did you determine which platform is right for your business? You have to think about how old your audience is. And if you want to bring up the slide that shows the different percentages, thank you. Facebook users, a lot of social media users are all on the younger side. However, Facebook does tend to be older. Instagram and TikTok are both younger. So you want to think about the age of your audience and who you're targeting, what kind of content you have, and the time that you have to produce it. How often do you want to post? And you want to make sure if you're posting your weekly ad that it does point directly to your website, so that converts to shopping. Maybe they're looking for more additional information about your store. So you want to move, from likes to leads on social, and a lot of that is just nurturing loyalty amongst your audience and fostering meaningful connections. You want to grow your following using tailored strategies and content. You can attract new and current followers that ultimately influence shopping habits.
And, turn your followers into customers by crafting compelling content and strategic campaigns. And you can drive conversions that secure your bottom line. You want to be consistent and have quality content, and it'll help reflect your brand's identity. And at AR, we offer insightful, in-depth analytics and real-time reporting. We track KPIs, analyze performance, and continuously refine strategies to achieve your goals. With any ad strategy, it's important to remember that only 20% of your content should promote your business, and the other 80% should inform, educate, and entertain. You won't get conversions right away. It actually takes, like we said, an average of 7 or 8 touch points to see a sale, which is why we start with awareness ads that promote your business, inform your customers about your products and services, and educates them on the benefits of the products. And then they will start to consider maybe clicking on one of your ads. And this is where you've reached the consideration stage and your audience starts to browse your product catalog before making a purchase and creating a conversion. Some of the best practices we've seen is, it is important to post your weekly ad and your department specials, but it's also good to highlight your associates and your store level content. This really helps you connect to your audience by creating personal connections, and it resonates with your fans and can really be a point of difference between you and your competition. Some recent posts that we put up for our clients include an employee spotlight that had really great analytics metrics on there with the reach and reactions and the views. There was another post where the store gave a tour to some pre-K classrooms that really people love to see that kind of content. It just makes you stand out from, the competition. And really, you need to make sure that you're measuring your social media performance. It's really important to track key metrics such as followers, like the people who choose to see your feed, reach, the number of unique users who've seen your content, impressions, the total number of times your content has been displayed, as well as engagement, which is how many users interacted with your content. And it's important to see those click-through rates. And that's pretty much it on socials. So I'll throw it over to Janelle, who will talk about email and texting.
Thanks, Jen. I'll be starting with email and texting, and we'll roll over into the next slide. Email is a great way to reach your customers to go to your weekly ad. A lot of these customers have opted into your emailing list, and so they want to be hearing from you. And there's also great room for segmentation within email to really get down into that list and figure out who needs what prices, what stores, what events is going to be most beneficial for them to learn about and what they want to hear about. And you're going to have better engagement that way. And then you can also drive conversions through email, promoting your hot items, recipes. These are things that go directly to your weekly ad, and they will take that action. And email is also a great way to track how many people you're sending to your weekly ad to your website. And now we'll kind of look through how to leverage your inbox. With these people wanting to hear from you, they often want to hear about your weekly ad. And so that's what you're going to be sending, your hottest deals of the week, bringing value through coupons. If you have a welcome email or loyalty emails of they've spent so much, and so you get so much money back. And this also drives them back to the store to purchase or back to your website and your weekly ad. You can also create a community within your store of promoting events and bringing them together back into your store. And also recipes are a great way. A lot of websites have recipes in the grocery industry so that you can put them on your email and send them to those recipes and then ultimately to their weekly ad to purchase those items and just driving those sales. And then we'll also look at how do you measure success within email? You're going to be looking at 4 of the top metrics are going to be open rate. Are people opening your emails? Are your subject lines enticing? Click-through rate, are they engaging with the content that you're providing them? On conversion rate, if you have e-commerce, it's most easily tracked, but you can see then once they're on their website, did they make that purchase? Did they make that order? And then also wanting to keep in mind the unsubscribe rate, if that's too high, just making sure that your content is still relevant to your customers, and you may need to adjust that based on if you're having higher people opt out. You may want to look at what you can change within that. And that kind of wraps up email for now, and we'll move over to texting. I love texting. Texting is a great tool to get your weekly ads straight to people's mobile devices. Around 98% of people are walking around with a mobile device in their pocket. And so it's a great way to get to the customer quickly and efficiently, and very high engagement. Most people do not leave their messages unread. And so they're at least opening it and then getting rid of the message, or opening and then engaging with that message, going to your weekly ad, looking at the coupon, bringing it to the store. And you can personalize it in that way of finding coupons that go well with your audience, or if you have other messaging that you can tailor to those specific needs of those different segmented groups of people within your texting audience. And again, tracking, you can track how many people are going to your weekly ad, or maybe even an app, through texting. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll kind of walk through how you can even utilize texting, what you can promote. There's lots of things that you, even outside of this, that I'm sure you can get creative with, but we kind of focus on grocery deals, the ads, what's being launched that week, exciting events that might be occurring that we can promote. Even mobile apps, as I have brought up. If you're launching a new app, it's a great way to get downloads, or if you have coupons that are just in an app, you can drive them to that app along with the weekly ad. Digital coupons featuring holiday events or deals that may be coming up, and also like store updates if you have hours that are changing for a holiday. If you had a catastrophe and you need to close for a few hours, you can send out a quick text message and get to your customers fast and effectively. And it's really efficient. And flash deals are also great for texting because it's an easy, quick way to promote, like, hey, we have a bunch of inventory of this specific product. Let's do a flash 1-day deal. Come get it while it lasts to get through this product. Or even 2 or 3 day sales are great to promote. And we all see success through these different promotions. And now if we move on, we'll kind of look at like what a text can look like. Usually you want to keep them pretty short, as no one's going to sit there and read an entire paragraph. I sure wouldn't. It's something, a quick touch base. You want to get to the call to action pretty fast. And we always include a link as much as possible, because that's on our end what you're going to see redemption-wise or engagement-wise is through that click on the link. We can't actually, carriers don't track the open rate, but it's also been looked into, and like based on habit, people are opening their text messages. And so we already know that's so high. We're mostly looking at the click-through rate of engagement, and that could be a link, or it could be even in-store redemptions of like a coupon. If you had a PLU code on there, or they're scanning it at checkout, you can have an image attached. You'll see in this text message it does. Those do cost a little bit more, but they are effective. And there's other analytics that I have displayed here. The message, you can track unsubscribes, people who clicked, the sent, Click-through rates tend to be higher in texting than in email. This is one of our clients, Fresh World. They do great with texting. They have one of our largest single retailers who have a large list of 5,000 or more, and it's been working out great for them. And that's kind of something with texting. It's a great cheap way to try to reach your customers. It's also a great way to promote all your different types of sales that you have going on in your store, and they have seen a lot of success there. And so you'll kind of want to gauge if this is right for your customer base, try it out and see if this is something that works for them. And then last thing, I wanted to kind of like put together email and texting of like how you can grow these lists. Website is a great tool to drive to have pop-ups, a designated page to grow your list, kind of in a non-intrusive way. Just have it on your website. You can also then use social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even TikTok, if that's a great channel for you, to drive them back to that website to sign up. QR codes are a great way to have them in store, on signage, on packaging, receipts, and then also to drive signups. We sometimes will promote giveaways to kind of have that incentive. An incentive is a great way to get somebody to sign up, whether that's a discount, a free item, or something that's just enticing them to sign up. We find great success in that, especially on the early stages when people kind of need the extra push to go over the edge and sign up. Also, with email and texting, you want to make sure you have a very clean list so you can stay compliant with all the laws and regulations, not adding anybody who has not opted in. And you're going to find the best success by doing that as well. And now I'll kind of throw it back to Wendy to go over direct mail.
Yes, thanks, Janelle. All right, so let's not overlook direct mail, which isn't a typical, it's more traditional channel as opposed to sort of the new digital services. So don't overlook it. It's got to be it should be part of your omni-channel strategy. When we talk about omni-channel marketing, digital channels usually steal the spotlight, but don't underestimate direct mail. What makes direct mail really powerful in an omni-channel strategy is how you can connect your digital touch points. Here's a few examples of how we've integrated direct mail into retailers' omni-channel mix. We've added QR codes to the direct mail. They link to their either a digital ad. The digital ad, maybe a recipe hub or a coupon gallery. By using QR codes in your print, it really does drive traffic to the digital channel. So in essence, it's like turning offline readers into online shoppers. Sometimes we've included custom URLs that land the customer from the direct mail piece onto a specific landing page so we can track how that performed for them. Other times we've paired direct mail with targeted Google ads and OTT or social ads and really focused on a particular zip code. So those are just some of the ways we've used direct mail. The last part of this, I wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about the need to track your channels, the channel performances. So why do you need channel reports, or why do you need to track your KPIs when you're launching multiple digital channels? Really, each channel performs differently based on the audience, behavior, creative format, the creative messaging, and each has its own targeting capabilities. So tracking which channel is performing best for you is really important. When you're tracking these reports, you're also looking for conversion rates. You just want to make sure you're spending on the right channel and that it's performing its best for you. And by tracking that, it leads to understanding what's working for you, what didn't work for you, basically showing a good ROI on the digital ads that you're running or the digital channels that you're running on. You're looking at clicks, impressions, engagement. One of the platforms that we use at AR Marketing that's been very helpful for our team is a project pipeline platform called Monday.com. It helps us to relay a consistent message across all channels in a timely fashion. There are other platforms other than Monday.com, other project management tools, Asana, Trello, ClickUp, Basecamp, just to name a few. But for us, Monday.com allows our team to request artwork, different sizes for the different channels. We're all on the same page as far as launch dates, and we understand what budget we're aligning with each channel. So having a tool like that really helps us to manage our cross-promoting across the multiple channels. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that one. So again, thank you for, sticking around and learning more about omni-channel marketing strategies and how we elevate your weekly ad. At this point, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. But before I do that, I did want to make sure that everyone that has attended or is attending this, we would love to offer you a free marketing store audit. If you just, send an inquiry that you're interested in the store audit, I'm happy to do that. Send it to my email as thank you for attending this. But we'll be able to give you just a brief overview of what your marketing is looking at from a digital perspective. So with that, let's open it up for Q&A.
Let's see if there's any questions based on, I don't know if it's any particular question about a channel that you might have, or how we report, or how we manage the pipeline for the omni-channels. I'm here to answer any questions. And if not, if you don't have any questions, again, please, we'd love to offer you that free audit, marketing audit, kind of give you a perspective of where you stand on social and digital, your unique social and digital standing in marketing. And just send me an email to wendy@a-rmarketing.com. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions. Now, Jessica, if you're on there, do you see any questions? Sorry, I think I'm looking at the right place. Do not.
So Wendy, I can read some questions for you. Hey everybody, okay. This is Sarah Rivers.
Thank you.
So let's see. First off, we'll be sending an email following this event with the form to complete your free audit. So be on the lookout for that. If you registered, obviously you'll get that email. Let's see. Do you have a limit on the number of characters for the text SMS messages? And is it extra for images on those text messages?
Yeah, that's a question for Janelle. Janelle, do you want to unmute and answer that one?
Yeah, so there are two different types of texting that you can do. So there's SMS, which is 160 characters that you're limited to, and that's like a basic text message, no emojis, no images. It's text, and then you can have like a tracking link to see how many people are engaging with that text. And that's on the cheaper end. And then you can do an MMS message, which is like a multimedia message, which is usually 3 times the cost compared to a regular SMS message. But that's where you can add an image, something that's very visually appealing. You have like 10 times the amount of character limit. I mean, I wouldn't advise using that much. Like, again, I had mentioned no one wants to read a paragraph per se, but you can add some more details if needed. And you can add emojis or any creativity that way. It kind of gives you some more creative freedom. It's kind of nice to have a bit of a mix of both SMS and MMS, I think.
And while it is a little bit more expensive to do include like pictures or surveys or anything like that in the MS type text, you're still talking pennies. It's not a huge, it's really a very cost-effective channel to be promoting your weekly ad or products and services and price points and things like that. All right.
All
Sarah.
right. The next question. Yeah. So how are the costs for the CTV videos so low compared to industry average? So what I was talking about was cost per completed view. What the CPM is for video is anywhere between $15 to $20 per thousand. So I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. So CTV budgets can vary anywhere from $500 to $700 for a market area per week. So that's kind of the cost range that you're looking at there.
Mm-hmm. But remember there, I was just going to add that just remember you can be very targeted in the criteria for who's seeing your CTV or OTT ads and things like that. And so it's, while it is still more expensive, there is a cost to it. It's just that you're getting your ads are being seen by the exact audience that you want them to see.
Right. So I think, when you're looking at that, you really want to look at what kind of media you're buying. I mean, print is totally different, right? It's kind of a large net, right? Whereas with digital or CTV, you're more narrowly focusing who you want to target. So that's a really good point, Wendy.
Yeah.
So then the next question, you mentioned we should walk our websites, etc., like we walk our stores to make sure everything looks good. What about when we have special hours like the holidays? How do we tell Google that on, say, Christmas, we're only open 7 to 3 when it's not every day? So I don't know, Wendy, if one of you can take that one.
I can answer that. For us, we have a monitoring team that is monitoring your Google business listing and going in and actively changing the hours because that happens, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those kind of things. So you just need to make sure you have access to your business listing, and then you can go in and change those hours yourself. That's how you have to do it. Yeah.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. And then Wendy, what's included in the marketing audit?
It's basically going to be, we're going to take a look at your business listing, where you are, because that's really important for SEO. We're going to take a look at your digital perspective and social platforms. To be honest, it's a quick audit, but it'll give you sort of a report card and kind of give you an understanding of where you are versus sort of some of your competitors, or we'll pick out a sort of a competitor set just to show you how you're doing in each of those categories or each of those channels.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. And then are there any platforms you would stay away from?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a good question, right? I would say it depends on who your target is, right?
Yeah, I think, I kind of go back to my initial discussion about building your marketing plan and understanding your marketing budget. Again, we are using Placer reports to find out where there's opportunity, for new shoppers or, targeting your competitive areas. And once I understand that, then we're selecting our channels to operate on. And for the most part, most of our clients, we have a budget that we have to stick within, and we're trying to pick out the channels that are going to be the most cost effective to accomplish the goal. So I don't know, I kind of go with texting and email, social media, very, very inexpensive channels to be operating on, and that you should always be paying attention to those. And then, when you kind of get, if there's an extra budget, we go into digital ads and OTT CTV ads. We layer them all on top of each other, again, trying to, cross promote on those channels, sort of that omni-channel presence. I can't think of any other, I guess, you might kind of think about like sort of old school, like do billboards. I don't know if I'd, do billboards work? I know they, you got traffic going by them, and so that's that's one of those channels that I'm like, it's great for awareness. It's very hard to track. I can't tell you what the ROI is on that. So I would say billboards. Traditional billboards, I mean, but they can be effective, but we just can't track it very well. So
right. And then the last question I have, I think, is great job, AR team. Will you share the deck with attendees? I don't know if we can share the deck. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely do that. Yep. I'll send that over to Jessica.
All right. I think that's it.
Good. Well, again, if anybody has any follow-up questions, I'm Wendy at a-r marketing.com. Happy to answer them. We'll make sure you have your slide deck. Certainly shoot me an email if you're interested in us kind of doing a free audit of your marketing channels, and appreciate your time. Thank you for attending.